Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source. It's the backup channel backing Celeb up and bringing you all the breaking news. Last Friday, Fox News contributor Jason Whitlock went on the Tucker Carlson show and said that the whole reason why the Tyre Nichols situation happened where he was deaded by the cops is because black single mothers don't know how to raise their kids right. Whitlock said, quote, "Everybody involved in this on the street level was either 24 to 32 years old. Everybody. It was a group of young black men, 5-on-1. Looked like gang violence to me. It looked like what young black men do when they're supervised by single black women." End quote. Well, needless to say, Whitlock's comments caused a little bit of a firestorm online, and a lot of people weighed in on his comments. Now, the latest person to weigh in on his comments is Ciara. Ciara said, quote, "As a black man, to get on national TV and say something like this is irresponsible. A lot of amazing kids have come from single mothers. For you to also undermine single black women in the midst of this tragedy is so sad. This woman just lost her son. Do better." End quote. After Ciara dropped that post, actress Holly Robinson Peete responded in the same thread, thanking Ciara and then writing, quote, "What a self-loathing, cold, reckless, stereotypical, insensitive, clout-chasing untruth to spew in front of millions. Tyre called out for his mama, and this was his takeaway? Neither Tyre's mother or Chief CJ are single black moms, so why say that? Pathetic troll." End quote. Listen, I'm going to tell you exactly why he said it. Because as Toni Morrison tried to tell you in her wonderful and prolific novel, The Bluest Eye, some black people want the blue eyes. And they'll do anything to get them. But I'm not getting ready to get into that. Jason Whitlock apparently saw Ciara's post and he responded back to her on Twitter. First, he thanked her for her feedback. Then he doubled down on his dangerous diatribe about the negative impact of baby mama culture by saying, quote, "Had I followed the script, I wouldn't be embroiled in controversy. Public enemy number one of black Twitter, Ciara, and all the other blue check virtue signalers. Tyre Nichols cried out for his mama for a reason. I'm not saying that to belittle Nichols. I'm saying it's a reflection of modern black culture, a culture that inappropriately places women at the top of the food chain. Mama is the ultimate authority and savior." End quote. Listen, dudes like Jason Whitlock kill me, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because whenever they're talking about single black mothers and the breakdown of the black family unit, they always forget that the majority white government that has been in control like forever has had a whole lot to do with the fact that some of those women are out there raising kids on their own. For example, Tyre Nichols' baby mama is now single through no fault of her own. Listen, I was raised by a single black woman and my mother did a phenomenal job. So I want to give a shout out to all of you single black mothers who are out there doing it on your own. It is a hard job. It is a thankless job. But guess what? You're doing your thing and we appreciate you on this channel. Now check it out. Ex-football player Chad Ochocinco has something to say. He says that while he was playing in the NFL, he stashed away mad coins because while y'all thought he was running around stunting with the bling bling on, he was actually saving his money and buying his jewelry from Claire's. That's right, he was buying his stuff off the 3 for $10 rack. Get this. During a recent interview with Shannon Sharpe, Chad Ochocinco said that he was able to save 83% of his NFL salary by flying on Spirit Airlines and buying fake jewelry. When talking about buying his jewels from the bargain store in the mall, Chad said, quote, "We talk about jewelry and watches and chains. I never bought real anything when I was playing. Never. What was the point? I went to Claire's. For what? What am I doing it for? The women are gonna deal with you anyway because of who you are. And then the other women who are really doing their homework done Googled how much you making already. Why am I buying a $50,000 watch, a $80,000 watch?" End quote. After making that statement, Chad asked Shannon Sharpe what time it was. And when Shannon Sharpe told him the time, Chad said, quote, "See that? Time is free." End quote. Honestly, I think that what Chad just said there is a word to the wise, and a lot of these young rappers need to really listen to what he's saying, because he's saying stack your coins and stop spending your money on these frivolous material things, because at the end of the day, when you retire, you need to have some money stashed in the bank. You need to invest in things that are going to appreciate over time. I mean, some jewelry might appreciate, however, I doubt that a blinged out chain with an iPhone 12 in it is really going to fetch you a whole bunch on the market. Especially like in 2033 when they drop like the iPhone 40. And then your dumb behind's just going to be standing there with a chain that has a pendant on it that's equivalent to having a black and white 13-inch television around your neck that only gets channels 2, 4, 7, 9, and 11. And wait, I almost forgot PBS. Hey yo, on to the next story. Dame Dash has recently shared a little bit more info about what happened after him and Jay-Z parted ways many years ago. According to Dame, Jay-Z offered him $1.5 million for his stake in Rockefeller, and Dame thought that number was disrespectful and grimy because he thought Jay was trying to lowball him. When talking about the offer during an interview on January 31st, Dame said, quote, "I was offered a certain amount of money for my interest in Rockefeller Incorporated, which owns Reasonable Doubt. Jay-Z offered me like 1.5 mil, and I was like, that's some disrespectful-ish, so I guess I gotta sell it someplace else." End quote. Dame went on to say that after he attempted to sell his stake in Rockefeller, Jay-Z pursued litigation. Dame said, quote, "I got the lawsuit because again I got accused of doing something I didn't to stop me from doing it, and then everybody just went missing, so I had to deal with the lawsuit on my own." End quote. According to Dame, him and Jay-Z eventually reached a settlement in 2022. Ayo, didn't Jay pay like $1 to $2 billion for the Douce? But then you're gonna try to offer your mans $1.5 million? What's up with that? Ayo, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that $1.5 million for Dame's portion of Rockefeller was a lowball offer? Was Jay-Z trying to screw his mans? I don't know. Now check it. Kwame Brown was on the Pivot podcast, and when he was on the show, he was talking about his own upbringing, and he also shared his thoughts on why he thinks some of these kids are out of control today. When discussing today's young black youth, Kwame said, quote, "Parents were good at hiding things in my day. Now they do everything in front of the kids. They bring the kids out, they TikTok, they twerk with them instead of twerking separate. I had the old school upbringing. Back in my day, they were twerking, but you had to go outside. You know what I mean? Now they just mesh everything together, and it's weird because the kids are seeing things that they shouldn't see, and they're growing up angry." End quote. Listen, Kwame might be onto something because back in the day, there definitely was a separation between adult and child. And now, that line seems to be blurred. But I don't know, is the reason why some of these kids are off the hook is because we're not twerking separately anymore? Let me know what you think in the comments. Hey yo, check this out. A whole bunch of people out there are not feeling your boy Steph Curry this week. Apparently, the very pricey and safe neighborhood that Steph Curry lives in was entertaining the idea of building some low-cost housing in the area. Now, this low-cost housing development would be very close to Stephen Curry's $30 million mansion, and apparently, him and his wife Aisha were not too happy about it. So in an effort to thwart the building of this low-cost housing development, Stephen Curry and his wife Aisha wrote the town of Atherton a very strongly worded letter. The Currys wrote, quote, "As Atherton residents, we have been following along with the housing element updates with special interest in the 23 Oakwood property. We hesitate to add to the not in our backyard, literally, rhetoric, but we wanted to send a note before today's meeting. Safety and privacy for us and our kids continues to be our top priority, and one of the biggest reasons we chose Atherton as home. We kindly ask that the town adopts the new housing element without the inclusion of 23 Oakwood. Should that not be sufficient for the state, we ask that the town commits to investing in considerably taller fencing and landscaping to block sight lines onto our family's property." End quote. Well, after people found out about that letter, some people on social media had some very strong words of their own that they wanted to share. For example, one person wrote, quote, "All for it, but not in my backyard," end quote. Another person came through and wrote, quote, "Low income's not gonna mean homeless people. It's probably those making under $100,000 a year. There goes the neighborhood," end quote. Another person came through and played some defense for Steph Curry, and they wrote, quote, being honest, spend $30 million or even $1 million of your hard-earned money on a house. Do you want Section 8 low-income people in your neighborhood, not including the property taxes you have to pay yearly? End quote. Now somebody came through and responded to that comment quick, fast, in a hurry. They wrote, quote, what kind of Section 8 housing are you building if Atherton is the most expensive area in the Bay? Section 8 mansions? I'm all for it. End quote. Listen, people seem to be very divided on both sides of the fence when it comes to this situation. But let me know what you think. Do you think that Steph Curry was wrong or right for not wanting any low-income housing in his $30 million backyard? But check it out. I know one star who probably would not be opposed to having low-income housing put in his backyard, and that's KRS-One. Because if you remember, KRS-One was once homeless. But boy, look at him now. The hip-hop legend has been honored with a street mural in an area on the Lower East Side of Manhattan where he once slept on the streets. The mural, which is located on 2nd Street near 1st Ave, was painted by Italian street artist Jorit in honor of hip-hop's 50th anniversary. When speaking about the honor, KRS shared that out of all of his success, nothing compares to being immortalized in a mural. KRS said, quote, wow, just wow. There's no award that's above this. I grew up here. KRS-One grew up in this neighborhood and was less than every single person here. I was homeless. I might have slept right here. Hip-hop taught me I can do anything. End quote. Listen, KRS-One is the man, and he's part of the reason why hip-hop was even put on the map. So it's important for us to give him his flowers. And I gotta say, knowing that KRS was homeless reminds me that you should never judge anybody by their housing or their income. Because you might be on top today, but you never know where you're gonna be in 10 years. So, you need to treat other people the way that you would want to be treated. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celebrity news. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.